Okay guys, well, I'm gonna try to take practice to another level. You've seen one of my hoops, so now I'm gonna incorporate a second one and see if adding that second one can push practice a little bit further. So what we're gonna have to do is I'm gonna try to hit the line where I go through both hoops and get to the basket. If I wanna get really particular, I'm gonna try to land it within the bullseye of this. If I was gonna play a game, I'd start adding points for how many hoops I got through, how close I got to it. But anyway, we're just gonna step up and try it. And this, like I said, you might wanna avert your eyes. Okay guys, so one of the things about practice is you always want to kind of be on the edge of uncomfortable. If your practice is getting comfortable, then you're not really pushing yourself, you're not really challenging yourself to go to the next level. And so that's why today I brought out a second hoop, because I think this is going to be interesting to try to not just hit one window, but two windows, to really hone your lines, but also just to consistently get to be thinking about making gaps down the line. It's the best way I can describe it. Okay, so I'm just gonna sit here and I'm gonna try some forehands through the gap using a second hoop to add a level of complexity and uncomfortability to it. And let's see how I do. Full disclosure, I've thrown two shots already. One was a backhand, one was a forehand, and they were not very good. So let's just see what happens. All right, like I said, it's easy. Just step up and do it. Okay. That was actually easier than I thought, just because I had focused on it pretty good. If it gets too easy, start moving the hoops farther away from you and then from each other. You can add levels of complexity just by changing the distance that you're throwing these shots. All right, I'm gonna throw all my discs. I'm trying to work on just getting that shot down through the window. So let's see how it does. By the way, upcoming, I'm going to show you more about this pickup stick that I've designed, and yeah, coming soon. So what's interesting is I find myself not looking at the first hoop. I kind of get lined up, and then I'm looking past the first hoop to the second hoop, and that's really my target. So if I line up the first one, it should take care of itself, and you just focus on the second one. Granted, I'm not that far away from the first one, so it's a little easy. To be honest, this first one is influencing my throws. I'm keeping them lower. This stand I brought only goes up so high. I didn't realize it was broken, so that's kind of limiting me too. Well, if the goal was to hit the hoop every time, I'm doing pretty good. Now, to be honest, if I'd been smarter, I would have brought my batch of envies or one single set of discs to throw them to get consistency, because right now I've got from my beat up birdie that just wants to crank over to my pretty stable reactor. Oh, and I left the other one over there. There's a deflector over there as well. So for me, this is good because I'm kind of getting a feel for each of the discs that I'm using. But if you're trying to work on getting your basics down, you probably want to have all of the same type of disc so that you're working on that throw. Hope that makes sense. Remind me to get that deflector next time. Definitely adds a layer of complexity. See how flippy that guy is? I got a double. Part of this hitting the things, there's a penalty for hitting them because you have to go reset them, so it gives you that added bonus of missing it. So it's giving you incentive not to hit the disc, hit the hoops. So it actually helps you mentally. That's an interesting little practice because there's something different about that than a single hoop that I like and hate at the same time. Let's face it, if you're gonna practice, this thing Save your back. More to come. I know, tease, tease, tease. Okay, so one of the comments in the last video I did about forehand scramble was talking about touch and how we kind of overlook touch a lot. Well, here's the deal. I have a much better touch game with my forehand than my backhand. So I can either always lean on my forehand or I can work on my backhand. So this might be a great opportunity to work on using the two hoops to work on touch. Now it's gonna be ugly. It really is. I'm gonna bang these hoops and I'm gonna hit them a lot. But if I keep this up, I'll get a lot better touch with my backhand approach shots. So let's see what we can do. I'm just trying to go right down the hoops. Perfect. Right down the hoops. Definitely be better if I had my putters with me. All right, so now, instead of flinging it, I'm gonna raise this up and I'm just gonna, oh, so close. So this is real life. I literally just set those up. This is what practice should look like. It should look ugly until it stops being ugly. Woo, woo, woo. That's one. Half. I want to hit it. I really want to hit it. Who knows, maybe it'll help you not get so mad when you miss a shot too. You miss these enough, you kind of just start to slough it off. All right, this one's way overstable, so I gotta. Hey. So now think about it. What if you did nothing else but practice from this distance in, just working on your approach shots to where you just got bullseye accurate? How much would that help your game? You know, practice the stuff that's eating your lunch, the places where you're losing strokes that you shouldn't. And that'd be a great place to start figuring out how to practice. You use some creativity, figure out what's getting you, and then set something up so that you can work on that. Okay, this is a little aggravating. I'm gonna do it just like that because I'm gonna hit it this one. It went through. That's just lazy. See, I'm pushing that, and that's what it's teaching you, to engage and make sure you get that good release. And we'll take it. What do you think? How you like this for a practice setup? You want to take a shot, see if you can make it through? It's kicking my butt, but I'm trying to work on having a little touch. So look at this. So yeah, forehand, you gotta get through both, land it by the basket. Think you can? Hey, I'm Pete, by the way.
Good to meet you. You have that YouTube channel, don't you?
I do. That's you're on right now.
All right.
What's your name?
Carson.
Carson. All right, let's see it. Do it again. The first hoop is not bad. Once you put a second hoop up, it starts messing with your mind. Almost. Yeah, it gets addictive, doesn't it? Yeah. You know how many times I've knocked him over?
Probably quite a few.
Yeah, that's part, I was just saying to the camera, that's part of the bonus of trying to get better so you don't have to keep resetting the hoops. Carson, take care, buddy. Through the second one. I need to stop right there. That was the line. As soon as it left my hand, I knew it. I can just tell the way my arm's engaging. There you go. Want that nose up, that float to get through. All right, so we can see definitely shakier on the backhand. Let's see, compare it to the forehand if I'm any better. Perfect. Yep. Another side note, I should bring out, I have some ankle weights I can put on here to help keep it from falling over, but they were at the studio at the church and I was too forgetful, forgot to grab them. All right, good throws. It is kind of a tight line for this shot, so I'm pulling a little bit much. That's fun. You can set this up in your backyard if you've got enough room, or take it anywhere. You don't have to have the basket. Just put your bag where you want it to land, but work on getting that shot. Just be creative, be inventive, but figure out a way to work on your game so that you can develop that touch, that approach. You can work on these so that when you step up to make the shot, when it counts, oh, I've done this a million times, and you just step up and boom, you hit the shot. Anyway, hope that helps. For touch, there are two things going on. There's your lines, making sure you're hitting the spots you want to, so you're throwing it accurately, but then speed control is the other. And so throwing through the hoops is great to work on getting those lines, and even you can work on your touch with that. But sometimes you just can't recreate, you're needing to make a shot where you're having to work on getting that exact distance, that exact touch, and having the disc land so that it's gonna stay right there. So I'm gonna use this as a practice. Here we have this island practice basket here, and it's on a mound. So if I go by the basket, it's gonna carry on farther. If I hit it on the edge of the basket, it can pick up and roll. So what I wanna do is I wanna try to make sure that my landings are happening with the terrain if I can. But so I'm gonna go through all my discs, because sometimes you've gotta use discs that you can't normally think about for your approach disc. It may be that you got to punch through something, who knows? So this is kind of the opposite of what I was saying when you're trying to get your base stroke downs, you want to use all the same discs. Now I'm kind of working on the discs I use all the time, so I want to throw all of them because I really want to get used to them and their quirks and their characteristics. And some of the best ways to do that is to throw them in ways you're not used to throwing them. You throw them softer, you throw them as putts, you do different things, and their character will start to show it. Its character will start to show, and you can learn more about it so that you can rely on it in different situations. Anyway, that's enough talking. I'm gonna do this first one, I'm gonna do forehand, then I'm gonna do backhand, because like I said, I'm much more comfortable with my forehands, but I'm gonna need to work on my backhand approaches too. Huh. Well, I landed it right. I wanted to land with the land, but I needed to push it a little bit further. Can you tell that's a new used T-bird I just put in my bag? I thought it was flippier than that. That one's coming in a little hot. See, I burned that one in and it just slid by the basket. All right, let's try the escape. Use elevation to burn off the speed. This is a meat hook boss, I think. It just is super flippy, so. I still didn't get it over enough. I love to hear that plop. Okay, like I said, that's more comfortable for me to do that. Now let's try it with the backhand. Working on your touch game means thinking more, because you could just bomb a spike Hyzer and drop it in the basket. And that's not a bad shot, but sometimes you just don't have that shot, so you need to be able to regulate your speed to be able to drop it where you need it to. Thought I hit that one. Notice I'm getting the nose up to regulate that distance and speed. I'm trying to get it to float in and then die. It's also a great way to tell the inherent stability of your discs, because the slower you throw it, the more you're going to see them want to drop and be more stable. You can probably see that on film. I short-armed it. I tried to finesse it, and I didn't follow through. I didn't put that spin into it, so I just kind of You still want the spin, you want the follow through. That one's way too overstable. I knew better than that. All right, let's try the faster disc. Sit down, thank you. Trying a little air bounce, a little bit of a ultimate shot there. Oh, too fast, sit down, hit the, yeesh, yeesh. All right, super overstable. I just immediately put it nose up. I didn't give it a chance to do this, so just. So guys, I hope you understand, all the stuff I'm talking about practicing so far has been within 100 feet of the basket for the most part. That's where you can lose so many strokes or you can gain so many strokes. If you can be deadly, 100, we'll push out 150 feet and in. But just 100 feet in, if you can get that game down, you will score against a lot of folks who can throw a lot farther than you can, because you're gonna be deadly. All right, let's try this backhand again. Let's just stop now. That ruins all the other shots. Oh, did you see I dropped down and kind of scooted that one? I really just needed, instead of me doing my body, I should have just got that nose up and driven through it. It still worked out, but it wasn't a good throw. A little bit left. I want to go a little higher. Oh, no. You see how height increases the stability. If it climbs the hill, it's got to drop down the hill. All right. Now my faster disc. I'm being a little chicken. You can tell when I'm not engaging if they're dropping off early. I'm not going to the basket, I'm short arming it. That should be good. Through. That one's just tough. You got some disc. I love that disc, but that's hard to, I'd really just want to spike and plant that one instead of doing a flex, a super hard flex from 100 feet out. Guess I'm about 100. But you see the difference between my forehand and my backhand, how consistently I can drop most of them just right at the basket with a forehand. So that's why I need to work on my backhand. Part of the problem is we get used to throwing one that throws a little bit better, and we keep throwing that. So we get better at that, but we don't progress in other shots. Right now I know my forehand approach is pretty good. So let's try to bring the backhand up to that level. All right, let's do one more backhand. A little low. That's better. Float it in there. There you go. Finally getting the nose up a little bit higher, letting it ride in there. A little too much, they're gonna take off. Goodbye. Nope. See, I'm shortening I'm not following through. I stop here. It should show up on the video. I'm kind of doing this instead of through. That's nice. Yeah, I'd much rather be throwing a flick, but that's part of the workout. I'm uncomfortable, so let's work until it's comfortable. The added bonus of practice like this is you start to see your tendencies, your habits. My misses are always early. I tend to be tight. So when I need to make the shot, I need to be speaking to myself to make sure I'm not tight. I'm throwing out over here. And maybe give myself a little more room on the right side than on the left. You know, this is part of becoming a student of yourself and how you do under pressure. Now the other side of this is you need some positive affirmation. So after a few rounds of doing that and you're feeling kind of down about it, do something, change it up a little bit. Don't keep just banging away at something if it's not working well. So what I'll do now is I'm just gonna throw a couple spikes at it. Hopefully I'll get a lot closer. Just because you're practicing and it's uncomfortable doesn't mean that it can't be fun. You want to inject as much fun and motivation into your practice as possible. So if you find yourself getting angry, you find yourself getting mad and frustrated where you just want to leave the course, change things up so that you can instill some joy or some happiness in it. You know, do some stupid stuff like, okay, I'm gonna try this next time all left-handed or something like that, just to get yourself out of a rut. Because one of the things you want and don't want to do is get used to having associated with practice this doom and gloom. You want it to be the thing that you can't wait to get out in the field and work on this stuff because you're seeing improvements, but also it's not a burden, it's a challenge. I hope that makes sense. So I'm gonna finish up one more, and one of the things I've noticed is that I'm very good at forehand and Hyzer approaches, but I get a little twitchy in here if I do a Hyzer approach. So I'm just gonna try to throw these in Hyzer to this basket and just see how we do. See, one of the reasons why you wanna do a floater into this is anything that hits the hill with any kind of speed or angle just wants to pick up and roll off the back of it. So that's why you have to practice all the different shots. Okay. Let's face it, that kind of shot with this high-speed disc is kind of a crapshoot. Anyway, get out in the field, practice. Listen, 30 minutes of doing this a couple times a week, and you're gonna be deadly. I promise you, it'll pay off. Go have some fun.